I have in front of me today a car that has some of the highest sense of speed I've ever experienced. Where does that feeling come from? What causes it? And how to choose cars that give you more of that feeling. I'm going to link a video up here from Donut Garage that goes into the science behind this at some length. What I'm more interested in, the first-hand anecdotal experiences. Stick with me on this one because I think it's really important to talk about, and at each stage of the video, I'll be talking about it here, but we'll also be going out on the road and I'll be demonstrating each element that I believe contributes to this sense of speed. So let's dive into it, and I'm going to start with one that a lot of people don't think about as increasing your sense of speed, and that is the belt line of the car. This line here, where your window begins. A lot of modern cars these days, you feel like you're sat down low in the car, and the car is cocooning around you. And the reason for that is because this belt line is quite high on a lot of modern cars. You'll be shocked, it's usually above your shoulder. And there's a number of reasons for that. It's things like, safety. It's also to make the car look cooler from the exterior proportions. Having a low belt line, like this car does, where you kind of almost feel like you're sat on top of the car, actually increases your sense of speed. I think this is because you can see at a sharper angle and closer to you where the road is. The low belt line is such a huge part of this. You feel like the car is really small around you. I also think having a narrow car adds to that too. Just feeling like you're driving something small makes you feel like you're going faster. If you're driving this big hunking SUV or massive coupe, you just don't get that sense of speed. You feel like you're in a cocoon. You take up the entire width of the road. Having a nice narrow car means I can avoid the pothole on the inside of this road without leaving my lane. I have all this adjustability. I can weave like a madman, and I'm not leaving my lane. I just clip the white line on that side. You've got so much room for activities. You can take a racing line through a corner. So fun. The next point in this video is actually my absolute favorite when it comes to sense of speed. But first, a word from our sponsor. If you're a car person and don't have an OBD reader, what are you even doing? Go and get yourself a Carly, who have sponsored today's video. This will allow you to read faults with your car. It'll allow you to code and customize your car. So let's connect. Let's run diagnostics and check for any issues with this car. Oh, holy hell, there's a few things. We've got some ABS brake warnings. We've got some invalid signals. Brakes on this rental car are not ideal. The transmission has 18 issues. Mostly related to the brake system control module. Oh my god. Right, let's clear these issues, and hopefully most of them should not come back. Another thing that's really cool about Carly is it allows you to code additional functions into your car. What we can do is we can code the lowering of the side mirror when we go into reverse. So at the moment, what happens is when you put the car in reverse, that mirror over there does not lower. What we can do is we can go to on and we can code the car. So I've now gone into reverse and the mirror is actually lowered. So I can see how I'm parked. It's such a useful feature. You can code out the stop start so it doesn't always default to on. And there's a bunch of different things that you can code in here with all the different control modules on the car. Support the hell out of these guys because they support me to keep making these videos. Use code MICDRIVES to get 15% off your Carly. Right then, let's get back into the video. Another thing that's absolutely massive for sense of speed is a soft suspension setup. If you have soft suspension and when you turn, the car leans into the corner, you get a better and faster sense of speed. Look at that, the soft suspension. When I turn, the car leans. It's informing me. It's telling me what's going on underneath. It's making it feel more engaging and fun and fast. If you've never had a car with soft suspension that's a sports car, you're really missing out. It's such a nice feeling when you go through a corner and you can feel the car working under you. Under acceleration, it pitches backwards, and it's just moving and communicating and telling you things. On the brakes, it dives, we turn in, it leans. That's what you want. That is more fun and feels faster than having a really stiff car where you make steering inputs and the car just does it with no drama. You want a little bit of that drama. You want a little bit of that roll. It actually makes a massive difference to the sense of speed. If this is not your first Mick Drives Cars video, make sure to subscribe and maybe leave a like. Another thing that really contributes to sense of speed is the ride height or overall height of the car. That's a factor of a number of different things. It's the design of the wheels and suspension that dictate how high the body sits off of the ground. Again, in the modern world, we're losing this because we're putting bigger and bigger wheels, and the body then sits higher up off the ground. That's one part of the ride height equation. The other part of the ride height equation is actually the seat. I actually don't consider this to be a modern car. This is a very old school designed car. The first time this chassis came out was 2005 or 2006. And you can tell just how low the seat is to the floor. I mean, your bum is, maybe a foot off of the ground? And that's the combination of the lower ride height and the fact that the seat is mounted very low in the chassis. A lot of modern cars these days are crossovers and SUVs. A higher riding position is preferred. It's easier to get in and out of, it gives you a commanding driving position, but it ruins your sense of speed. You'll often find in those types of cars, you're going a lot faster and you don't realize it. You might be doing over the speed limit on the motorway, didn't realize I was going quite that fast. Sometimes I actually think the reason a low driving position often feels faster is because your visibility is reduced. If you were sat high up in a car and you could see over these hedges, it would feel like you were going slower because you could see further, you could plan better. When you're in a little sports car like this, you're sat on the floor, it's not as easy. Everything comes at you a little bit quicker. And I actually think that's brilliant. I'm a big proponent of, within reason, making the drive more challenging for yourself. I think people should go out in the wet, in the snow, and learn car control, get better at driving. And by sitting in a low car, you're doing exactly that. You're reducing your visibility, which makes it a little bit harder to drive, but as a result, it's more rewarding when you get it right. Another thing that really affects sense of speed is the noise that the car makes. A lot of electric cars, Teslas and the like, you don't feel like you're going very fast, and yes, they break all the other rules too, but additionally, they don't make any noise. And actually, this car, because it's a convertible, and we'll get to that element too, even with the stock exhaust and the stock everything, you get a little bit of sound when you're accelerating, and that increases how much you feel that sense of speed. And here's what I was talking about, the noise. We're not going fast, but it feels like we're really going fast. A little bit of noise goes a long way. I did 0 to 60 in like 8 seconds. Actually, I didn't even get to 60. But that's fun, that's enjoyable, it feels fast, even if it isn't. One more thing that really does contribute to sense of speed is the gearing on the car. Shorter gears and more gear changes feel faster. It's one of the things I don't love about the MX-5. The USA versions of these cars got much shorter gearing because of the final drive between the rear wheels. In a USA spec car, second gear will only go up to about 50 miles an hour, and you've got to make an extra gear change on the way to the speed limit. In our UK cars, second goes all the way up to 62, and those longer gears just take the edge off of that sportiness and that sense of speed. Let's talk about gearing for a little bit. That was over 60 miles an hour in second gear, which is not ideal for sense of speed. Ideally, you want really, really short gears that you have to constantly be changing. This car gives you a little bit of that because it doesn't have much torque down low. So if you want to go somewhere, you've got to change and change again, and then you get a little bit of acceleration. A manual is a must when it comes to gearing. Being able to row your own gears. And control the sound the engine is making. For when you want less like I do now, or you come up to a corner and you want a bit more. It's your choice. With an automatic, you can still do that, but it's just not as interactive, it's not as engaging. You don't get that sense of speed.
And finally, if you can get one, a convertible massively increases your sense of speed. Air flows over the windshield and over your head because of the little wind deflectors, but you get a little bit of air moving through the cabin. You're a little bit closer to the road.
And the convertible, when you feel this air rushing over you, it just feels like you're going so much faster. I mean, I'm going 50 miles an hour in fifth gear, I'm just pootling along, right? I'm not driving hard. But it feels exciting, it feels good, because I've got all this wind. We have 5 senses, and 2 of those are largely emitted when you're driving a closed-top car. And those 2 are smell and sound. When you're trying to get a car that feels fast, getting all of your senses involved really helps. And actually the sense of smell, when you enter a new area, maybe you've entered some woods, and you can smell those trees and that grass. It just adds to the experience. Just want to say a quick massive thank you to everybody that's been supporting me with these MX-5 videos. I was really worried when I sold the M2 and moved into this car that you guys wouldn't have as much interest anymore, and the channel wouldn't be as exciting because it's an MX-5, but that doesn't seem to be the case, and you guys are really enjoying the videos, so thank you from the bottom of my heart, each and every one of you. It means a lot. Thank you for supporting me.
I also have a bit of an update as far as MX-5 stuff goes. So the next job on the list was going to be the service, but actually I've had a look at this car's service history, and it has some of the best service history I've ever seen in my life. The previous owner really loved this car. The oil is nearly brand new. The spark plugs were done a few years ago or 10,000 miles ago. So there's no real point me doing a servicing video, so I think we're actually going to skip this. I also have heard some of you talking about how this car doesn't need more power. What's the point? And I agree with you. So we're going to go on to wheels and suspension next. I'm super excited. Stay tuned, get subscribed, because we're going to be doing some cool stuff with this car.